Because at the end of the day, guys with that Wall Street, not what we're producing. It's just like it gets really weird. Yeah, it gets really weird with public companies that you're no longer concerned about making neat things. I'm now chasing stuff.
That sounds like a big.
So that's where I work. That when the stuff we deal with is so old, so old. It's like 10 years behind, and it gets really frustrating.
Yeah, the shareholders' expectations drive most corporations' goals and stupid, ridiculous, obviously.
And so decisions on what we do and not do are usually based off of, well, what's going to make shareholders, not like, hey, if we make a good product, that'll get us market share.
It's not even that.
Yeah.
It's what will make the shareholders happy for the small amount of time that I'm steering the ship. I don't give a fuck what happens after I leave. In fact, I know it's all going to come crashing down after I leave because I set shit up incorrectly. But I know I got 2-3 years as a CEO. I get my severance, move on, ship crashes. I don't give a fuck. I'm out.
So that's the kind of company I work for, and I don't want to work for that.
Most big companies are like that. It's annoying.
We're still not going.
We're waiting for you. Everyone's over there watching Olympic soccer.
Oh man. Basketball starts in 30 minutes.
Like y'all, straight up, why do we need Olympic soccer? Seriously.
Yeah, we already have the every 4-year World Cup.
The World Cup is the Olympics of soccer.
It's slightly less for us.
Oh,
But I want to watch it with
it's really close.
ever so slightly
It's kind of
different.
hard to call. God, one of them is more corrupt than the other. I'm just not sure which is which.
No, we like it because everyone goes back to their home country then. It's the same people.
Well, a lot of the national teams for the World Cup, a lot of those players don't really
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Fuck it.
but I'm sure that's because the World Cup already exists.
Truthfully, I'm just going to have to take what you're saying for granted because I don't give a fuck about that shit, so I don't follow that. I'm not going to be like, well, actually, this guy who's a famous soccer player you've never heard of, and this guy is a famous soccer
No,
player.
I don't follow soccer, but I do know for a fact that some people just don't play for the Olympic squad. I think that's
I know Pele,
Yeah.
but ever since he did his upside down kick, then I'm not sure.
Haley's the same way. He's like, bump, bump, bump.
See, that's why all the classmates can relate to you. When I was TA.
Let it all hang out.
Are you Pinocchio?
Yeah, this is all being recorded.
When I was TAing at ITT,
Mhm.
then it was a whole bunch of just out of high school,
Yeah.
and they were like not getting electronics and all, but things like taking sex, drugs, rock and roll, and out of what the teachers were doing there, and it's like, okay, look, it's like you and your buddies, you got 6 years, and and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I can pass, but I just had to take it into that, way more crude analogy. And
Take it deeper, yeah.
Yeah, and they were like, they actually.
No, I get it. Yeah.
But it was, I was working with a bunch of basically, high school part 2 kids.
Yeah. When my wife was studying for the bar, she became famous among all of her classmates for her nasty mnemonics that she did for remembering things. So, like the way it is, like, I make every letter a dirty word instead. It's like easy to remember.
Funniest thing how that works.
Boy G Bib. All right.
What was that about?
That's the colors of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Red, orange, yellow,
Yeah. Well,
green, blue, indigo.
one for the color codes for resistors.
That's an even longer one. Okay. Welcome back to class. All right. So we've learned a lot already, but we're going to keep going. We're going to keep pushing, okay? So next thing we're going to introduce is population with Mongoose, okay? So this is very important and is actually probably where a lot of the Mongoose power lies, okay? Populate does is it lets users relate one collection to another, okay? So we're kind of, it's like kind of like our Mongo join. All right. Need really advanced relations, MySQL is probably still the better choice, but this does give you some of the functionality of sites when you power your site with Mongoose. All right. So let's go ahead and open up an example of Populate. So let's go to my 6.
Yes, sir.
What, internet's bad again?
Yes.
Shouldn't have left. Shouldn't have ate.
We should probably all stop.
You could have had internet. There it is. Okay.
I do that pretty.
So we're gonna go into here, and I'm going to get bash here, and I'm gonna run the server. Cool. As long as I don't have a server running already, it should be fine. Oh, I do have one already. Let me cancel this server. All right. So node server.js, and it will launch my application. Yep, it launched my application. Okay. So if I go back in and I go to this 3000, I can take a look at what I have, what this is actually doing. So there is my loading screen, and it will allow me to relate, I'm sorry, to /books. It should return all of the books that I have entered into my database already. So I already went through and entered some great titles here. Feel free to check these out. These are all excellent books. They will all get you into trouble. So anyways, thinking too much. Has anybody read any of these books, by the way? That's actually really good. That's more of an essay, but the last one is really good.
I'm enjoying.
All right, so these are all really good books. They're in my library. So I went to /books, and it will show me all the books listed, okay? If I go to /library, okay, it will actually show me the IDs of those books that are contained within the UT campus library, okay? So I have 2 collections. I have a collection which has all the books with their names and all that information, and then I have another collection that has them all kind of held together with this outer kind of general library information, okay? So this is giving me all that library data listed in JSON, including the object IDs for each book property, okay? What we have to ask ourselves now is, what if we want to see the data for all books stored in our library, okay? We could go back to books, but what if we wanted to include all the information about our library and our books? So the query, that data, we can make that query for that data with just one call, all right? Or we would want to, all right? So this is where Mongoose comes into play. This is where Mongoose's populate method comes in. So let's go ahead and take a look at the populated route in my application. All right, so if I pull open the populated route, there you see it. So now I have my information from my library collection and my information from my books collection brought together into one piece of JSON that gets returned, okay? So let's take a look at the library.js model. So this is the model for the library collection. Excuse me. And if we roll on down here to library schema, okay, so we're creating this schema based off of the general Mongoose schema. That's what line number 5 does for us. Then we're creating a new schema off of that schema class that we borrowed from Mongoose, and that's what's happening on line 8. So this is nothing new. This is exactly how we set up our schemas in our last exercises, our last activities that we did, okay? But what is different, I should point out, is if we look into here, we see a reference back to another collection. That's right. So where we see book here, It's actually a reference to the book.js model. Oh, sorry. Get all my tabs. Okay. So what we've done there is we've actually made a schema link back to the books. Okay. And then if we go back, the other step of this is after we've added it to our schema or our model, we have to go back to server.js and see how we tie that in. So let's take a look at how that's tied in real quick. Server.js. Okay, so here's the server.js. Okay. And here is our populated route that we were wanting to include, okay? Just make sure there's nothing I need to talk about here. Okay, so here is our populated route, all right? So we're initiating a find request on the library object, okay? But then what we're doing is we're running that populate method. So we're populating books into that, okay? So basically what it's doing is it's saying that this string that we're creating here is going to make a call to populate the entry, all right? The books that are stored in our library's book array will now be brought over, all right? We kind of execute these joins in our routes from our existing collections. So there's no third collection. There's no collection called populate. We're not actually creating a third table that has this information related over. We're just adding it in as we define the route itself, okay? All right, so thing to notice is that it has the execute, all right, which will go ahead and allow it to execute the query once we've added in our populate method there. Okay. Let's see, anything else of note in this one?
So pretty much what that route is doing is joining collections together, right?
Yes, it is. It's creating a route that has data from two collections in it, basically. Okay. All right. So let's talk about how we would finish this model. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and slack out another skeleton, 7 populate exercise. Okay. And then, all right. Thanks for coming. All right, so everyone answer that question now. All right, so what we're gonna I'm confusing myself up here, actually. All right. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and finish up this. So we're gonna partner up one last time, so you'll never have to see this person again after this time. And we're going to take a look at the skeleton. Server.js, all right? But check out Node.js and User.js, the models that we have, to see how the schemas are set up and how we make the populate method possible, okay? So let's go ahead and start working on that. We're going to do about 10 minutes of trying to finish out this, this activity here.
So what is this?
What?
In book.js line 23, book equals mongoose.model, open parentheses, book, comma, book schema.
Is this in
book.js line 23?
Book.js.line 23?
Yeah.
What is the book that's inside of the? It's like a function.
1 second, please. I closed my window here.
There's another one in library.js also if you have that open.
So here's book.js.
Okay, they're down in line 23. Inside the model parentheses. What is that book right there referring to?
Basically what it's doing is it's telling there. Okay, so what it's doing is it's basically saying create this model and add it to the schema. Okay, so we have this book variable book, which is now being our placeholder for adding that extra data to this particular server file.
So
It models the table, right? Was model table? I don't remember.
Model is an object. So model is an object that we create off of the schema object.
So
and then the follow-up question on there, I noticed that both times you call it, you have library equals mongoose.model.library, library schema.
So
You have books equals mongoose.model.books.
So in
Right,
order,
so
yes,
is that, do they need to be the same? Or is that just another case of
so
lazy variables?
when we're all done setting up our schema and we've added everything to it, we need to package it up as a model that can be used over into our server.js. So that's what, see, like, this is one of the previous activities that we did right here. So like on line 95, we're saying our user use that schema that we just defined to create the model that's going to be used over in server.js.
Cool. And I noticed that there you use user in there twice. Don't have to, or you do have to.
Yeah, it's saying create this user off of this schema. So user is the name we're giving it, and then we're saying use the user item and the user schema.
Just for ease, not for mandatory. You could call it something else if you want to.
We have to save it all as a variable so that we can then use that export to send it along so the server can collect it.
I actually have a question for the user. That's a reference to the file, correct? So if it was in a different directory, it would have to be .slash.
So if we go back to this one and we're talking about this one, we take a look. So here's the model, right? So here's the server. And if we look at where we're actually, using this, we can see that user is used over here as well. Okay.
That's brought in as a different variable because it's lowercase to user.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So if we go back to our actual schema.
See, that one's capital user.
yeah, where's that? What's that? Custom method.
Hold on a second. I'm kind of lost now.
Probably around 6.
On this one, if you scroll up, then you'll see where they require user. They give it lowercase user.
Also, what does the npm package Mongoose do? Yeah, they have to list it.
Right there, line 6.
What it does.
Right,
Wait,
lowercase
don't you have
user. Wait, no, it's not. Yeah.
Okay, this doesn't have it, but the other one did. This is the popular site, but in the actual Git, they do.
Today's awesome.
So are we supposed to be doing something right now that I interrupted?
There's so much.
Yes. What you're trying to do is you're taking the files that were just slacked out to you guys, and you are trying to work in server.js, okay? To
Populate exercise?
yep, populate.
We're making new models and exporting. That's cool. And then, so whenever we do that, where is it getting grabbed? So let's say that would be in there. So it's exporting your book, right? And then where's it getting first? So is this it?
Ah.
Okay. So now.
We're exporting it. Where are we importing?
Oh, it did not be able to require function near the top. Require. This one does require more. No, it's logger.
No.
Where are we importing it? I'm just wondering where it's getting sent. We're exporting that model. Who's grabbing it?
Go into library, and it references it right there.
Gotcha.
And but I don't know how it actually scroll up. Does it ever get required?
This is where it's getting it. No,
That's the only place that I ever see it get called.
Because I'm used to when something gets exported,
Somebody's got to import it.
yeah.
Usually, yes. It's usually
But
been
in this
required.
case, you don't have to. Because normally I'd be there requiring that file, and then
Unless,
Oh,
I mean, it's a
no.
database connection, so it doesn't
Yes,
have
it's,
that.
you're pulling it from the database, but let's see if they use it in.
So the names that what's bothering you guys is that in one file they're calling it user, and in the other file they're calling it example, right? If we're talking about number 5, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So if you look right here, what's up on the screen, line 50? This is where what's happening. Okay. So if we looked at if we're setting this
Oh, but that is a
class
required
example,
statement. How do we
okay,
use that one?
that's based off of everything that we exported from this line. So we've exported the model user, but we're not calling it that way. We're actually saying, but this is
If you ever use example, okay, then new example.
yeah, and this is
And then the user is new example.
and when we
Yes,
say
that's
require this,
exactly what's confusing.
yeah, exactly.
That's what I thought.
Example versus user. So you're like, what? Where the fuck is capital user? But they're not
Here it
using
is.
that same naming.
we're requiring it. So with book, it's export to books. It's been required. Bar book is required. So we are.
And of course, it is the type of models that folks.
So it's like a triple thing that happens here. So in our actual schema, the first thing we do is we declare this schema variable, which is just give us an empty, ready to go Mongoose generic schema. Okay.
Right. Open and close curly braces.
So that's like a class. Then we're building a user schema off of that class. Okay. So we're building another basically class or for the schema called user schema, which is based off of that Mongoose schema that comes along.
So original brackets.
But that is just an empty placeholder too. It's only until we give it the actual value here that we actually start to export it, and then how we call it over here is where it actually matters.
Yeah, but it's weird because normally we require stuff at the very top. So I was like looking for it at the very top, but it's like in the middle.
Yeah, because of it's in different order. Yeah, you're right.
It's just confused.
Yeah. And so because they're using user over here to be the example, but the example is based off of user on the other file. So I can see why that's kind of confusing.
Right.
My user became an example, and the example became a user.
When we had some boilerplate code sent out for the Amazon, I think it was. It was just confusing as could be. And I went through and I didn't have a variable name that was less than about 30 characters. And it actually, it explained what it was.
I think that may have been the console hanging
That's
back.
good for
And then it's like, everything worked. Then it was understandable.
You gave more verbose variable
Yes.
names and stuff. Yeah.
I have to go home and take this apart. Like, I'm loving Mongo. It's awesome. Like,
It
it's
is
like,
cool.
This is cool.
There's
Like,
just so much.
Well, this is a tough class. You're getting everything that is Mongoose kind of thrown at you in one class. So it is kind of like I said,
I'm
a
just
couple.
wondering where the Cobras are.
it's basically like how to make MySQL for Mongo, right? Like how
We're doing it in a
strict
day.
It's like the sequelized part of the SQL.
Yeah.
So it's like this is like they call it an ODM, object document mapping thing. So it's called an ORM. It's kind of like the version of the ORM
And the
for
sequel has
Mongo.
like
They don't have 100% one-for-one feature sets or anything like that, but they are the idea behind them is the same. Created data abstraction, so you have something that's more fluid that's running queries instead of like hard coding every single query into your Node app.
So it feels like Mongoose is like kind of like they're making MongoDB like because
It is. It's taking all the flexibility and openness and kind of getting rid of some of that. Yeah.
Yeah, like if someone was like, we're gonna use MongoDB, and they're like they weren't allowed to use MySQL, and they're like, well, we'll just
Yeah.
that.
And that's actually kind of what it is that most of the people that use Mongo or that started using Mongo came from a MySQL background.
And they're like,
So the first thing they wanted is something that makes it more like MySQL.
And some are cool that they're like, this is
Like all
awesome.
the
Other ones
people
are
that
like, well, let's fix it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like all the people that are moving to Austin and then they want to fix it.
Yeah.
Move to it because it was so good and
Yeah.
then they want to fix it.
Take it back to
Yeah,
Dallas.
it's like that. Yeah,
Take that shit back to Dallas.
Yeah.
it's
I
awesome.
was thinking a little bit farther towards the
California.
left coast.
Yeah.
Okay, so down at 136.
36. To do.
Query to grab the user docs from the user collection.
We haven't got started on that to do yet, but
It's okay.
We're learning something is more important there.
yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and go over that solution so that we can jump into our last activity of the day. Yay! Okay, so let's take a look at the solution for this.
I'm gonna take this part. It's the
All right, so let's open up server.js in our 7 populate exercise.
And what I'm wondering is like, so like, let's say you buy a website.
All right.
How do you put it?
All right, so just like before, I'm going to go ahead and allow one of our amazing, talented, and members to help me through this. Okay.
I guess I don't have to worry about him calling on me. Then. I get an automatic pass.
So he's talking about himself, right?
Okay, everyone got a chance to comment.
Oh no.
I've worked with better, not many. Okay. Destroy me. I'm just got that in my head for some reason. I haven't even watched Ghostbusters in like forever. What's it? Okay. All right, so we have our /notes. What else? Where did it actually have us do work?
To do 134.
134. All right, so let's go down to our to do. 4. Okay, so it wants us to write the guts of this route, this app.get populated user. Okay. So who would like to get me started or walk me through the entire solution for this? Yes.
Can I do it?
Yes, please.
Okay. So you do user dot find, and then inside find you have the curly brackets. And you do dot populate.
And we just go on down and hit
In parentheses, then you have notes. Lowercase. And then
execute.
instead of a function, just 2 parameters, there and dot. And then curly bracket. Yeah, if res that center, else res that center.
I already have my other free back. Else and res.send. What was it? Doc. All right, cool. Very good.
This is a couple semicolons there. It runs. Go run.
Semicolon.
Semicolon, semicolon, semicolon.
I only see 2 semicolons that are needed.
Populate notes line 136.
After, on one
No,
component.
no, that chains, that'll break your chain.
It does not need it there.
Oh, okay, sorry, I didn't see the dots.
I have a question.
Yes.
On line 136, where did notes come from? That's where the actual object user. So where did notes come from?
So what we did is we have this user find that's kind of empty. So we've prepared the query to find all users. And then on top of that, we want to populate the notes. So we replace the object IDs in notes array with the actual notes. Because that's what this particular portion is doing. And this relates back to the coding that's already done for us in the model and the schema and everything. So the real activity is happening over there if you want to track down where that's actually happening. Okay?
I'm not following
Yeah.
the answer.
Try again.
You have notes here, right? Populate notes is what it wants to do, correct? Okay. And if we go back over to our actual model and we look at the user in this case, you'll see notes. That's what it's referencing. It's creating that populate method using that object ID.
So you need to set up your schemas to even accept these sort of things.
Yes, exactly. And that's why the work that's done in the model or the schema is what translates over to server.js.
I think that was the whole of the information I was missing.
Okay, yeah, it's a little tricky. Populate is brand new to everybody, so I don't expect you to all like know everything about it, but it is a very powerful and albeit somewhat useful thing that Mongo does. we had to kind of rush through some of these, and my sincere apologies about that. I know that it would be great to spend 3-4 days on this stuff, okay? But now we're going to kind of try to bring it all together and incorporate some of the stuff that we've been doing in the last classes, all right? So our exciting last activity has now arrived, and this one is a good one, I think. It is the scrapings. Scraping with Mongoose, okay? So now that we're going to bring we're going to bring it all the way back to where we left off in our last class, okay? So we're going to be working with Cheerio again, the scraping library that uses that jQuery syntax that was so familiar to us, right? jQuery.
Jay, what?
Motherfucker, exactly. I forgot about jQuery. All right. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'll go ahead and run this solution on my machine so we can take a look at how it works, all right? So let me go ahead and do it. The 90s called. They wish that now was as cool as back then. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and I gotta make sure I killed my other server here. And I did not. Okay, killed. Consider it killed. Okay, so node server.js. Mongoose connection successful. All right, so I can bring this up in my my browser, right? I can just go to localhost 3000. I should get all this wonderful stuff, right? Oh shit! Did not work. Why did it not work?
If you find me the solution, I can take a look at that for you.
Get right on. But first, to answer my question, why didn't it work? Well, if this is a scraping exercise, have I scraped anything yet?
No.
All right. So with this particular application, I actually have to visit an endpoint to scrape. So scrape complete.
Oh, fancy.
Now, if I was to go back to my root, everything should be populated. So as it says there, if you can do this, the homework should be no problem. So this particular activity relates directly to what our homework assignment is. Good.
Thank you for translating the.
That was me putting in a very old VHS cassette. You remember the ones that pop up when you put it?
Yeah.
It's all about the 90s. That's actually maybe from the 80s. Go back there a ways. Okay. All right, so if we went in here and we said, oh, look at all these wonderful headlines. I want to actually click on one. And then it has more functionality. That's right. It allows me to add a note. Snarf. And it has added my note, or it will. Let's try. It's thinking about it. Oh. Should be getting ready for it. It's doing it, sort of.
The VHS is stuck playing.
This is where you hear it start eating it from the inside.
I wonder if this is
Decon.
Yep.
Okay,
Console log.
All right, so be neat delete. That's the new version of that. Here's a quick quiz. Can anything be deleted from the internet? I'm pretty sure they've deleted things.
Well, you have to rephrase that. Can we delete anything?
No,
from
we
the
cannot.
internet?
Exactly.
No.
The powers
they?
that be can.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
How do you remove something from the entire?
You have to. It has to be like one of those things where like people are rioting in like 25 countries right now because of this YouTube video, and then they're like, okay, get out the keys,
Break out the screen.
open the internet. There's a bunch of crystals like Superman, you know. Another 80s reference. Let's go ahead and work on this solution. So we're going to Slack out this file to you. Open up the skeleton server.js on your machine, okay? Well, they only wanted you to have 10 minutes, so.
Oh my God! Why?
You're getting an extra amount of time there. So. This is ridiculous. You signed up for it. Shut up.
I paid money for this.
Not only did you sign up for it, but you begged for it.
There's no leaving once you've been shanghaied. It's off to join the French Foreign Legion for a few years. We've all been there, right? 1 second, you're doing some hillbilly heroin in San Francisco. The next second, you wake up, you're in Liberia with the French Foreign Legion. 3 years in, you got shot in one of your shoulders.
Where's the rest of the story?
It's called Shanghai.
Yeah, that's where it comes
Force
from.
you to join the French Foreign Legion?
It did it to a lot of people, trust me.
I thought the whole point was that it was like a volunteer.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories of people that have been.
I watched The Mummy. I mean,
This guy's talking science over here.
So it is these to-dos that have to get done in Server.js. So if you load it up and you do /scrape, it'll tell you scrape complete, but then the scrape.
I got scraping last time. It was cool. We did it in the.
No, the scrape is complete. We just have to spit it out.
Yeah, it's not. We did it last
Yeah,
time.
the first thing I'm going to do is change the background.
yeah.
It actually came that color. Didn't get that color.
I did this one.
Afterwards, the computers started as white. But originally, they actually came in that
It's almost like a nicotine yellow.
Yeah, it is. Like,
Over a single computer?
oh man, they're going to apply for the job.
That's all good. I gotta find my.
Like that woman was talking about.
I gotta find my Craigslist one. I can find the Craigslist one.
Like all garbage. Not one of them.
I don't rename stuff.
We keep the lights low.
Did you take the job?
Are they looking for working
I
capital?
actually didn't get an offer.
I thought the script was already set up.
They seem to only want people with military.
The sending it back.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was in Corpus Christi. It's a very different job market there.
Here, I found it. This is how I did it. Alright, I'm gonna split it right. I'm gonna start checking. Okay, that's how I have it.
Here's my working one. Although in this case, here's it again. Request.
Here's how I did it. For Craigslist. No,
Here's mine.
where's this here? Got that yet? We finished the route, so grab it. Let's log it. Let's log the response. See what we're getting.
Right now, I don't think it should be anything. Actually, wait. Has it already been set up in Article.js? It's requiring Shema.
Huh?
But it's
no.
referencing nodes. Here's nodes.
You getting a grill? You getting a grill?
It's
Go to Johnny.
It's giving us the Shema, but not the
Just married?
gravy website. There's
No, I just want some custom jewelry made.
You getting a grill?
Yes.
Go to Johnny. Go to Houston. Go to Johnny.
What's his name?
Johnny.
What's like?
He's this little super cool
No, I know.
Vietnamese guy.
I had a feeling you were talking about him.
Yeah, yeah.
What do they call him? It's not just
Interviews are
Johnny.
coming
It's
up.
like
Gotta get
someone
my
else.
Oh, he's probably like Mr. Teeth or Grill Doctor or some crazy.
So we got it. So now it's a matter of like.
That dude makes grills for all the Houston rappers.
Yeah, it's throwing it in the database.
And a good amount of the Louisiana ones too.
I don't know. It's supposed to.
I know we are setting
Our
it
treat
in.
was great.
You're getting it
TV
back.
Johnny.
Johnny Dang.
Yeah, TV Johnny.
Let's just go here and do.
Dude just made a whole life out of making these grills.
Watch this. Let's see about this. RES is it Jason Sin?
Isn't it like send JSON parentheses res or something like that? Res.send.
And then
Something like
what is
that.
it called? Where did we get it back?
Hang on. That's my favorite Houston rapper.
So response.
So awesome.
request.
So you have rolling.
I just constantly not like the response. We're getting it. Like it's
In our terminal.
Yeah.
Yes. But we need to find a way to get from there to the front end.
So
the
Maybe
res.
not that team.
the res.
Yeah. That's the response. And then we gotta send that back over to the.
Well, a res will send. Send JSON. I'll look that up. I'm sure it's a syntax error. Maybe the J needs to be capitalized.
Gochi
I
and
thought it was.
Everyone that you go away.
JSON. Okay. I know. It's probably the last one.
Res.json.
I think it's probably the last one. Res.json.
It is
res.json.
res.json.
Yeah,
So
res.json.
don't need to send, huh?
Correct. And then it would just be.
The J is still lowercase on that one.
Yes.
Wait, why discuss it? Kind of love those. Oh, it's a kid.
I did the first part here.
This guy.
And now I'm just not sure how to grab it.
You get it?
There's
Because it was actually fully.
Hey, do we do good? Do this stuff?
Yeah, attached with URL and a couple other
It doesn't like things that are that.
I'm gonna just bail out on that because it's just sidetracked. I just want to see. So you did a console log of
Res. And it'll get it. Like we're getting data. And the response time JSON.
we're all because instead of like doing all three different things, we're talking about.
Okay, so in here it's like the articles grab all of the articles. It's just that's why I was wanting to console log.
Finish the route to grab all the articles. Well, we have articles. Oh, so then it would be just like res dot. It's gonna have to be like the folder, and then grab the title.
Where do we do articles? Slash articles should be in. Maybe URL slash article slash.
There we go. Here's an example. Trans ID dot ID. We can set the ID. Like such. Here's an example.
So here we did script.
Flower and then target ID. And that's where we can then target that ID because we were, getting our ID matches rabbit ID, which one ID is what I'm clicked on next. I think the music is taking the URL as parameter or our route as a parameter.
I think it needs
At which
to
point you're
be basically all of this.
yes.
Again,
So you're saying the ID is not equal to request parameter. So you figured out ID.
I'm gonna try this.
That's the property of ID from the URL.
Okay, so then we have to find one article. Okay, that's a good one.
And this, in case
did
it's
it get it into the database? What was the name of this database?
This is a fine.
How do I even
It's not gonna
tell?
be quite the same as.
It's Mongoose dot whatever, localhost week 18 day 3.
Oh, it's still, we're still there?
Yeah.
But there's that.
So let's see if there's.
Got an error going in the library. Forget what changes I made.
What do we have?
Figuring everything out.
Okay, we still got our database.
So it is, our database does have, once you run scrape, you do have articles.
Awesome.
Cool. So,
Right?
yeah, we have.
So
That
it's
means
top
it's,
down.
that
So
means
then,
it's
so then
Ajax.
it is that. So we've got to do this thing with it.
So
But like its own
articles-
version. I think articles. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's articles ART.
Wait,
ICLES.
where is articles? Where is it?
I just know that's the name of the table, the name of the
Ah,
collection.
models.
Excuse me. They have to give it a different name down there instead of just being conformant.
What's the big articles? Sorry.
Yeah. The
Top five,
collection.
console log. Okay, let's try that, man. Let's just try this. I think it might work. Maybe.
So you have to complete check the
They have
database.
to do slash article.
Articles.
Just try running the route.
So slash articles, right.
Okay.
Yeah. Slash articles.
Can I read
Fine.
And it says,
Because it's not
hell no.
articles.
you want
Maybe it's
that.
called something else.
Well, where do
So
you,
what's
where do you
animals?
get DB though?
Let's find where the animal is. It's next to collections equals. So whatever collections equals, that's what you do.
Search collections.
It's just a live stream.
Yes. No results found in collections.
So they're calling something else.
Oh yeah, because that over there is straight up Mongo. Where this is Mongoose.
So it's gonna be this thing.
We gotta. Okay, because that's connecting to your database. So DB is mongoose.connection, which is connecting to your databases, and it's saying this database.
So then it should be articles. Week 18, day 3.
DB.articles. Is it lowercase or uppercase articles? Because they're making
Mine
references
are
to
lowercase.
I put lowercase. Dude, articles. Let me take a look at my actual.
because in your articles.js, I just noticed that.
All right, guys, you got about 3 more minutes to work on this,
Maybe
and then
we
we'll
need to
wrap
do
it up
something
and
in text.
talk about the solution. You guys will provide your solution.
Although that should just return option.
Articles.
It's articles or articles. It is article with the S. Shouldn't be. Res.json found. Error.
We're trying to get all, right? So this is like this.
Yeah, DB. So database dot collection name dot find parentheses function error found if error line error else.
How are they still
res dot
going this
JSON
hard?
found.
It's been 4 hours. They've been doing this.
They are really, really trying to.
I'm about to dance cumbia for everyone.
They require energy.
So do you salsa too?
Yeah, I know how to salsa.
Infectious.
It's been forever since I actually did it.
I spend a lot of time making sure my hips don't look like
That's how they make everyone follow. Okay, skeleton server death line 108.
I'd much rather do the bump.
Going on stuff running?
Did you npm install?
Yeah, because otherwise it would run. Because the server would not. Yeah, because all the expression and stuff.
Oh God, really?
Maybe. No, that's fine.
They also going to run Mongo on top of Mongo.
Yeah, maybe that's fine.
So that shows your node and expresses.
Yeah, you can go and run Robo Mongo and be able to look to see if it's getting in your database.
Cannot get slash article.
Yeah.
Up, it's articles, plural.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what we're trying to do.
You do like get collection. In this case, the collection name is. Collection name is
Not
article.
recognizing this.
Yeah,
I'm
we
just
went
saying,
through
go. Just search for all references to article. Make sure there's not an accidental uppercase, because I know.
All right, I was listening. You're such a good listener, Lisa.
Make sure there's no uppercase references.
All right.
All right, guys, I'd love to give you more time to work on this.
It's called
We don't
something
need more
else.
time, we're done.
Wait,
Cool.
Where are we
Team Lisa.
putting that article?
Team Lisa.
A little slower. Keep going.
I feel like such a team.
Let's add Mongoose connect DB. There's our DB.
Whatever.
There's no I in team, but there's an I in Lisa.
That's our
Articles, and that should get it.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about how we would actually do this. All right, so I'm going to open up the skeleton.
Make sure there's no errors inside our article.js.
I don't think it's supposed to be like that.
No, I don't think so. But check our article.js after calling it, just to make sure that that doesn't have a typo in it.
So it should be in here. What's it called in here? That's what you want.
Exports article capital A.
Yeah, but
No, what's up in here?
Oh wait, it is.
But what article stream is being exported as capital is the article stream, but it's exported as capital A article. Try switching it to lowercase in our article list. If you can export it as lowercase, you allow you to access it in the rest of your document.
What do you want to do?
It's like your article base. It's exporting it with a capital A. Yes, with a cap. It's exporting with a capital A inside of here. That's
Yeah.
Yeah. Would that not cause problems? Might be. Where else is the reference?
What was that? It just said articles ID.
It's requirement. It's referencing.
All right, let's take a look at the solution, or you guys will give me your solution. So let's go down to the /articles, the first route I wanted you to create.
Yeah, and yet the listed variable has a set of uppercase.
All right, who wants to walk me through the solution for the /articles endpoint? Lisa.
So you're gonna go to inside of there. You're gonna say article dot find.
Capital or what?
Parentheses bracket. And then after you find it, you put comma, function.
You wanted to do articles.
Or brackets.
You're gonna say if there's an error, red adjusted error.
Yeah.
And then if not, res dot send dot.
So one thing to note is if they wanted you to console log the error.
Oh,
So let's change this to console.log.
Happens if you do console.send.
I don't know if that works too well. And then for this one, we're going to go ahead and use the .json method instead.
That doesn't make any sense.
That way we are making sure our format is correct.
Can you run that and see if that works? Because we were trying to. It looks like there's several references to an uppercase article and lowercase article in the same
I
document.
can definitely run it and make sure it works once I'm done writing the next two routes.
Okay.
Okay.
It works. We just remember.
What?
Yeah.
That works?
Yeah.
Was it just miscalculated?
We just did. We did db dot whatever.
That's one of the three. What about the second? What about the second route? Who wants to handle that one?
Why would it not be DB?
There must be article.
There must not.
Let me see your guess. Let me sit down and I'll write it out.
Yeah, but
Like I said, this is the uppercase one that I noticed, but there's references.
Okay.
On the namespace.
over here, db.
You made a variable called this ID.
But this one doesn't use monsters. Does it?
Bar first.
That's the difference.
So how would Mongoose simply
Equals what?
Once they establish data, it's simply anything here automatically being
Like that?
Yeah. And then I did article dot find. And then in parentheses I did brackets. And then I did ID colon this ID.
Oh, inside the bracket?
In there, yeah, in the brackets. And that first part. For the basics. Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, article, and you said what? Got find.
Yeah, find and then
Let's go ahead and use the find one,
okay.
simply because we don't want to find more than one record, just in case. Just a little more detail there. Okay, and then you had like that, right? And then inside here you had what?
ID colon this ID. Yeah, that.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And
And I did dot populate.
then you have a dot populate. All right.
Oh. And I did note.
They are definitely turning it up.
And I did dot execute.
Okay, dot exec.
And then inside there I did function with error and dot as parameters.
Okay.
And I did error, console log error.
Thanks for stepping outside for your phone thing.
Yeah, that was so much worse.
No distraction at all.
No, I'm in class. I swear. Really.
Yeah, I was like, hello. I was in my doctor's office. Super hard.
Yeah.
Good they didn't call you at 11 a.m.
And then you had the conditionals like this, correct?
Yeah. I did an Alex spread that day.
Okay. Let me get that typed out. So just that's correct. That is correct. Yeah, you got it. You got it. You hit it correctly. One tiny thing to note, and there's always many different ways to program something, but well, what I have up here is missing a couple. I think it needs a here.
I'm not the one on line 28.
But anyways, what you could do is you did right off the bat. You set this variable. You could even just put this particular piece. Either way, it's just another way of doing it. Nothing wrong with the way you did it at all. Okay. All right. So moving on to the last route. Oh, there's mine. There were my guys. I didn't see them down there. Moving on to the last route. This is the post to articles ID. Okay. Who wants to tell me how to do this one?
Well, we would have the screaming babies one time.
I would have formatted it, Thompson.
Wow. John wishes he was at Thompson.
Oh my god.
Let's all stop what we're doing. Oh man, I've been kind of harsh on you today. Sorry about that.
Now, I paid for Jim.
All right. So the first thing that I'll go ahead and run through this one. The first thing that we have to do is we have to create a new note and pass the requisite or the request body to that entry. So we do that by var new note, we'll call it, and we make that equal to new note. Like how that works. And then that is using the request body. Good job. Okay, so that sets me up to do my next thing, which is to save the new note, save the new note to the database. So I did do that. Oh, new note dot save, and inside that I open a function with an error and dot parameter. Okay, and then inside I have my logic, just like we've seen before. If error
Console, not console.
and of course we need an else. If everything is hunky-dory, and that will be our next spot of code. So if we're using the article ID passed in the ID parameter of the URL, right? What we need to do next is prepare a query that finds the matching article in our database. Then it needs to update it to make its lone note the one that we just saved, okay? So to do that, we need to write inside this else, all right? We need a little bit more. So we have article dot find one and update is our method.
Update as a W.
What?
Update as a W. Update to.
Update does not have a W.
Yeah. Well,
Where did you learn to spell? Okay, find one and update. Take your pants off and dance. And we'll go ahead and say underscore ID. That's not a suggestion. Keep your pants on, please.
Oh my God.
Jumping jacks in Jim's office.
Yep. Remember, there's not all those pesky rules about secondary education.
2:01, huh? Wow. Look at the time.
Wow, come on. Okay, and then we have our execute function with the air and dock. And same logic goes in there. If console.log the error. Else. So if we've qualified on that, then what do we need to do now? Now we need to send the document to the browser, and that's pretty simple to do. All we have to do is execute a res.send and put the doc in there. That's it. That'd be it. All right. All right, so that was kind of a mystified solution. It's probably not 100% clear in your mind right now. But that's the beauty of the homework. The homework is going to run over all of this that we just did, okay? So this is going to be your opportunity to solidify what we've learned today. You don't have much opportunity because we're moving right into React next week. So make it happen. Make it so. What you should be saying is, yay! Woo, React.
That's the React that you were looking for?
The reaction.
All right.
Oh, there's a solution.
All right, so did we slack out the solution? Yes?
We did.
Cool, thank you.
Rob did.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Rob.
Kisses, bro.
Any concluding thoughts, Jim?
Concluding thoughts. Let's see. I think that, well, I think I was going to ask you to come up and talk about the homework, right? Isn't that what we're talking about? I will say, tough lecture. As I said, if everything shouldn't be clear necessarily, maybe it is, maybe it's not. The homework will provide that extra step to get that clarity. If you need assistance, reach out to us.
So the homework was posted yesterday. There is a video. You don't have to do the cool spinning 3D cube thing. My suggestion for you is to screen scrape Hacker News and just keep it really simple, and then change it to another news site that you want to scrape the data from. Solve a simple problem first, and then move on to something more complex that you may not necessarily want to do CNN or something right off the bat. There's a lot of dominant and manipulation there. So yeah, I think you guys will like Mongoose and MongoDB a lot better than what we did with SQL and SQLize, because the documentation is much better. Odd is just throwing JSON objects into this thing and it stores it all, right? So next week, Jim's going to lecture again about React. So then I'll be showing you guys more about Laravel the Saturday after that, and then some algorithms. So you'll have Jim back to back, and then you have me back to back.
But the real question is, will we get Herbalife back to back?
We can only hope.
God.
Should we go across the hall?
I think I'm officially part of it at this point.
Cool.
Oh my goodness.
Do you like three-dimensional triangles? Otherwise known as pyramids?
Reverse funnels. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the reverse funnel system.
I wonder how long it
Or like, we should
He's going to do next week, right?
like that next time. Let's just bump louder music.
Because you need to
Yeah, as we all go to lunch, we just crank it through right away.
Yeah,
Oh
leave.
man, they're really cutting it there.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not even there.
They keep turning it back up.
Yeah, optional homework. Like I said, I just revamped my portfolio and I was building a portfolio for a friend as a birthday present. So it was small modifications. I also redid some of my online courses and career stuff. Small modifications and tweaks to already existing programs. Yeah, I did.